pronouns are not to be used to weaponize another group because they don't understand. It's not that they don't want to be included in the inclusion of LGBT. They just like, I don't understand why I have to do this part to be an advocate or an ally. Why do I have to do this part to be an advocate and ally? And I can't help but say, I got a lot of my friends and a lot of family that they'll be there for me at the drop of a hat, straight or hetero, whatever. They're there. They are there for my husband and I, no doubt. If I were to call them, and I'm not saying this, if I called them and said, and if I were to give them that I'm going through the same as Stephanie went through, like they'll be there for me. They'll probably say something like, I don't understand it, but I'm going to be here for you through it. That's it. That's all I need, that validation and know that. But instead, but I wouldn't come out on the other side of that transition to say, well, now because you support me, you have to start using your pronouns. So I'm okay with you. It's like, but why should I have to have someone else? This is the question. Why should we have to make another group use it when they don't feel the need, but they do include us? It could be a deeper conversation, but these complex dialogues are happening, and it doesn't seem to be getting much of a common ground. It still seems to be very, very polarizing. And what I'm afraid it's doing is it's causing allies, advocates to be like, you know what, screw it. I'll support you, but I'm not, you're not going to make me out to be a bigot because I don't use pronouns.
Well, here's my take.
So that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That
has been
to unpack there. And it's been a lot, and we could probably do a part 2 on this, but this has been a lot that it's a big valid dialogue from both perspectives.
To a point. And I would be happy to come back for part 2.
Sure.
All you have to do is ask. But seriously, I mean, for me, and again, I can only speak from my personal experience. You know, you got to get the pronouns right if you're going to be including me in your life. I'm sorry, you just have to. You just have to. Now, how much slack? Pardon me, it's true. How much slack I give you in that is up to is my decision. You know, I can politely remind you that you're using the wrong pronoun. But if you keep doing it, then I may not be so polite anymore. But the point is, it's like I often say, pronouns used incorrectly cut like a knife. They're amongst the smallest of our words in the English language, but when they're used improperly, they're like flaming arrows through the heart. I get misgendered today. I still do. I mean, I get it. I'm not fooling anybody. I am who I am. I get misgendered from time to time. Doesn't happen all the time. But when I do, it hurts a lot. So no, you got to get them right. Sorry, you got to get them right. Now if you have how you come around to that, I will help you. I will help you. I'll never you can argue, okay, well, Steph, then you're mandating that someone who communicates with you and whatever needs to use the correct pronouns. I kind of am.
And I want to clarify, this is not for your sake, because we want to include like Stephanie is she, her, and we need to be sure. I'm talking about when we are requiring our allies and advocates to do it. And if they don't, they're not an ally and an advocate.
Well, here's the thing. The word that I have a problem with in what you just said is require. It's like, well, yeah, I want you to, I mean, on a personal level, as just as a trans person, I want you to use the proper pronoun, because the proper pronoun has everything to do with my identity and my own sense of self. So when you use the wrong pronoun, you are, you're taking a shot, whether you realize it or not, at my own identity.
You're diminishing
And
my wholeness,
you're
my
diminishing my
authenticity. Yeah.
wholeness. And that's why I want you to work very hard at getting it right. And I will help you. I will help you do that. If that is a requirement, then I guess it's a requirement, now that I come to think of it. But, there's a way to position it, I think, where it becomes more of a collaborative thing,
Right.
and as opposed to like a rule and a regulation. Yeah, I mean, I'm very firm on the fact that you need to use the right pronouns when you address me. But I'm willing to meet you, especially if I know you or you're a family member. I'm willing to meet you more than halfway and helping you get there, because I understand that this is new for you. It's not new for me. It's part of my lived reality, but it's new for you. And I get it. But that doesn't make the requirement that you use the right pronouns when you address me go away. It doesn't. I'm cutting you a little slack to what I said earlier about wanting to work with you. And, I guess I'm working from a position of that I hope the vast majority of people want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And they're not misgendering me with malice aforethought. I've had to deal with that, where people were purposely misgendering me because they were being combative, and they were and they were not happy with who I was, or who I am, excuse me. And it's like, but as a trans person, we got the radar. We can figure that one out very easily. Versus someone who's just making honest mistakes, and we need to work with them and help them. I just think, when you make it a requirement, like a policy, different than, me, it's kind of what I just was describing was kind of a personal requirement, Shane. It's like, yeah, when you deal with me, I want you to use the right pronoun. Yeah, of course I do. That's, but I'll work with you as we work into that conversation, because I know it's new for you, like I said before. But for a company to kind of put down this policy and say, you either do it or you're out, I don't know that that's a great way to go about it, because then that just builds a whole lot of animosity towards
it. Just continues to stigmatize
the subject.
Continue, because then I think at some point I was like, well, this leads into the argument of the fundamental Christian right, evangelical right, saying, oh, they want special rights. They don't want equal rights. They want special rights. I'm like, don't do this. Please don't say that we are. That's not what this is. And so I thank you for that clarity and getting through that, because I think it helps again destigmatize and allow for some of these allies and advocates to be vulnerable with themselves, to be like, I don't want to get in trouble because I'm not an asshole about this.
No, and and what I would say to the fundamental Christian right, it's like, hey, look, we're all divine children of God. You may not believe that, but certainly that's what I believe. And so it's not special at all. It's just, it's what everybody else, it's what every other divine child of God gets.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sitting here saying, treat me differently, because I'm working off of the premise that you probably don't agree with, that we all are children of God to begin with. And, so there's that.
There's that. Hey.
Don't.
Whew.